Hello everyone! Today I'm going to take a look at the leaders, and this time it's going to be a prediction on how they do in sealed/draft. So since we have all our sneak peeks coming up, I thought I would do this real quick. I love limited formats, they're one of my favorite ways to play a game, and I'm going to go through and kind of give my opinions on what leaders I think are the strongest when you are drafting. So for those of you that don't know, sealed, obviously you play whatever draft leaders you get, but if you're drafting the set, then you get to pick from all three leaders of your pack, and you go around the table and pick a leader each time. And it is a big thing to point out that just because a leader is good competitively doesn't necessarily mean it's good in a draft. A lot of times some of the best draft leaders are things that just work better with the set or are strongest on their own. Good way to start. Kylo is not a good leader. He is D tier. In draft, it's going to be too hard to trigger him. He flips on 7, which is way too late, and he's not even very strong when he flips. Definitely not something you want for your draft. Talzin is an S tier leader, 100%. The reason for this is when she flips, she's incredibly strong, and a lot of times in draft, having that guaranteed really strong unit, especially on 5, can really snowball the game in your favor. She's also decently good on the front side too. Another thing to note, if you didn't know, you're allowed to play any regular base of any color, so you can always have the Force bases in this set, the 28 health ones, because those are the common bases from the set. So I should have probably established that first, I forgot. So getting Force is not that hard in draft for this set. Ahsoka's still terrible. They hate my girl. She flips on 6. She just gives things Sentinel and she requires Force to do it. Not good. Kanan is weird. Kanan is so specific to what he he needs creatures and he needs specters to function. That being said, there's a decent amount of creatures in the set. They're a little spread out color-wise, though. So you're going to need to get a really, really specific color, card pile in order for him to work. So I'm putting him in B because he's so gimmicky like that. If you get a really good draft for him, he could shoot up to S. But a lot of times, he's just going to be pretty mid. Yeah, I mean, he flips on 6, too, which you really want to 5 flip, unless it's incredibly strong. Morgan, she's also in D tier. It's going to be way too hard to match keywords. She needs keywords matching to get the reduction, and that's just too inconsistent in draft. Snoke is... Oh, is he... I think he's A. The fact that he flips on 6 probably knocks him down to A, but he is very, very strong. He consistent, you can always use his effect so long as you have the Force. Giving experienced units is very, very good in a sealed environment. It just upgrades your card quality a lot. If he was a 5 flip, I think he might be an S tier. That said, I think he's an A tier. Also, the fact that you just need dark side cards, you don't need to draft a specific formatter or a specific type of unit, makes him very, very good. Avar is tricky. I think she's gonna be B. She's definitely playable because once she flips, your opponent's not going to be able to out her unlimited. You know what? I'm going to move her up to A. The thing about her is, obviously, she doesn't really do much on the front. She can give Force, so if you want to use Force twice in a turn, but that's going to be pretty uncommon for a sealed environment just because, you can't build your deck around Force, so usually, 1 Force is fine. It's good with, the 5-drop Duck Jedi guy and a couple other things. You also get her out basically on 8, which a lot of times sealed games, they usually end around 7. 8 is late, 6 is early. But that being said, she's so huge that she might just be good enough to win the game on her own, too. So if you get a decent card pool with her, she's definitely good enough to play. I'm going to leave her in A for now. Obi-Wan is S. This card leader is broken. It's still broken in this. Generic works with everything. He's far and away the best leader for you to get. If you have the cards to play with him, play Obi-Wan. That's basically what it comes down to. Maul's B. He's fine. He's playable if you want the colors. He does some, generic okay stuff. There's definitely nothing wrong with him, but he's not anything crazy either. Third sister. I'm going to put her in C tier. She is not, outright bad like these ones. But the fact that, the way you're going to win with her is be really, really aggressive and then Like, put her down, be hidden, swing, and then swing again for like 2 5 hits and try to kill your opponent. It's hard to play with her. She's not unplayable, but you need a really, really specific card pool. Also, if your opponent just has like a removal thing, she's gone because she only has 4 health. She does not stick around if she's not hidden. But she's not outright unplayable. You could play her if you needed the color combo. Kid Fisto is tricky. I think he actually drops to B or C. We'll put him at the end of B. He is playable because there are enough Jedi in the set that like you'll get your 2 pings off. Your pay 1 to do 2 damage. You'll get it off multiple times, but his flip is so bad, and that's a lot more punishing in limited formats where you really want a strong leader flip turn. So I would avoid playing him unless you have a really specific amount of stuff. If you're playing if you get like a lot of really aggressive cards, he could maybe be good. But I think it's going to be too hard to consistently get the Jedi you need to pull him off. Kind of like how Kanan works, where like if you get a really good pool for him, it's doable, but you're going to need specific stuff. Rey is interesting. So weirdly, Rey suffers from... I think I'm going to put her at the top of B. She suffers from the fact that there's so many Jedi in this set that it's actually going to be hard to not play a Jedi every turn with her for the effect. The discard your hand, draw 2 is kind of nice, and she's also huge when she flips. She has a 7, which is a little late. But I think she's definitely playable in the fact that she's very large. Drawing the 2 cards is nice. In this format, you will actually run out of cards sometimes. But the fact that she's a 7 flip probably knocks her down to B, unfortunately. Barriss, she's also going to go in B. She's just... It's hard to get enough things that she matters for. She knows she might be a C. There just isn't that many, like, non-unit cards you want to be playing with her in this set, especially in yellow. So I'm going to put her down in C. Interesting. What do I think of Inspector? Inquisitor. My bad. Wrong title. I think I'm going to put him at the bottom of A. He's a 5 flip, which is really good. Like, he allows you to trade up, which is really nice, too. Comes in shielded. He might be the best dark side yellow unit. I'm going to leave him in A. He's another unit where you can generically use his effect over and over again, which is really strong. So I'm going to leave him up there. He's on the border between A and B, but he's definitely playable. Cal Kestis. I think he goes here. He is pretty strong in the fact that he flips on 4, which is really, really good and sealed. Because if your opponent can't deal with him, you're going to run away with the game, especially because he taps your opponent's units. So, like, if you can keep control of initiative and keep him on board, you're going to win. You're going to win on, like, turn 5 or 6. So I actually think he's a lot stronger in this than he is in sealed. He's in a decent color. He's a Force user, which is nice as well. He does require Force, which is a little sketchy sometimes. He's definitely going to be way better if you're on the initiative. But he's definitely a playable unit. Qui-Gon, I actually don't think is very good. Actually, Qui-Gon isn't in the set, is he? Actually, now that I think about it, Qui-Gon and Maul both aren't in the set. Because they're in the structure decks, right? I don't think you can get him in the set. Whatever. I'll put him in here anyways. I guess for the sneak peek, you'll get him in your box, so you'll have him. I think he's pretty B. I'll put him ahead of Maul. Put them right next to each other. The problem is, like, you're not going to have a lot of things you want to bounce, and minusing tempo is really bad in sealed, because mostly you just want to be trading stuff. He's not awful. Like, if you get the right card, maybe you could be good, but a lot of times you're just not going to want to bounce things. Revan is actually probably pretty strong here. Should I put him in S or A? Restricting yourself to one color is really hard. That's kind of the problem for him. Yeah, that definitely knocks him down. I'm going to put him behind Cal. Yeah, we'll put him here. If he had a color to go with him, he would be really strong. But that being said, a 3/6 flip on 5 with the restore is really good. If you get like a couple of his lightsabers to go with him or something, he could definitely win you a draft. And I definitely think he belongs in A. but the fact that you only get to play one color is really restrictive, and it's going to be really hard to put a deck together that's enough cards. What you're probably going to have to end up doing is playing like 5 or 6 off-color cards just to resource, just because you won't have enough cards to make a deck with him. Anakin, unfortunately, I think is going down in D. His effect isn't relevant for this. Yeah, his effect just isn't relevant for this format because you're restricting yourself a color, you're giving yourself dark side like units, but I don't think there's enough of those that are good. I mean, you could try him. You know what? I'll put him up above D. He's theoretically possible, but you would have to have a really specific set of cards, and I don't think that playing the dark side things are going to be good enough to make up for the color given the card pool that we're in. This set has a lot of really strong ground units, which just makes and not a lot of really strong events and things like that, so it really hurts him. So this is what I think. I think Talzin and Obi-Wan are kind of the clear forerunners for your sealed pools, and if you have them, you should really be trying to make them work. You can also functionally use any of these A things as well, depending on what color combinations you want. Obviously, if you pull a bunch of really strong legendaries in a specific color combo, you're going to want to try and play that color combo. B is also something in theory you could play, but you need a really specific set of cards and a really good reason to make it. And I wouldn't personally play anything C or below. I just think you're making it too hard on yourself. Play Obi-Wan, play Talzin. There's a light and a dark side, which is really nice. And that it's trying to stick to the A leaders as well, in my opinion. So, good luck, everybody. I hope you all do really good and win all your sneak peek events. If you think I'm wrong, if you did really well at one of your sneak peeks with a leader, please let me know in the comments below. And I will catch you all later.